Hi Lynn, Charlie with you here, and this is the handover video for the Wildax Pulsar. Now obviously we've done the handover with you. I know you've got a good knowledge of motorhomes, so we're not going to go so basic on this particular one, but I'm going to point out a couple of key things. So just there is the set tyre pressures for the vehicle. That's the toolkit with the jack in there and the towing eye. This gets you underneath the bonnet. It is just one pull. I always do too, to be honest with you, just to save me walking back round if I've not done it properly. To the right hand side and lift up. That there, see with a bit of red underneath it, that's connected to your vehicle battery, the positive. That there is the earth. So if you're ever in an emergency and need to jump start, put the red lead on that metal piece and the black lead on that small little metal screw there. You've got your dipstick for your oil, your top up for your oil, your brake fluid, your coolant, your steering fluid, and then your windscreen top up round there. Underneath that big circular piece is your air filter. Now coming down the side of the vehicle, obviously you've had the nice new mirror put on, very nice. Diesel and AdBlue is underneath here. Your AdBlue has been topped up whilst the vehicle's been with us, but you top it up just in that slot there. It'll approximately lead about 10 to 12 litres per time you top it up, and that should last you about 4,000 miles. When the AdBlue's running out, it'll come up above your steering wheel on the screen saying 500 miles to 0, and at that point go get another 10 to 12 litres and just fill it up. To drain off your fresh water, we do that just here. To fill up your fresh water, we do that just here with a standard hose pipe. This is just the vent for your heating and your hot water when you're running on gas. To drain off your wastewater, we do that tap just there. And to empty your toilet, you do that, obviously I know you know how, so I'm not going to waste your time showing you how, but behind that door there. We've put the grill pan in the slot holder there out of the oven. Your reverse camera is just up at the top there. Parking sensors down at the bottom. The hookup lead on the back corner, which is going to charge the vehicle and leisure battery simultaneously whilst providing power to things like the three-way fridge. We've also got a secondary sliding door that opens just here, as you can see. As you can see, it's locked, but we can open this door up. We can have both of them open at the same time, and then you've got your gas refill. So to take this off, push in, twist, and it'll spring out. You then got this fitting here. That's where you're going to fill the gas up, and underneath the vehicle you've got a metal box chamber somewhere. I can't really see what my camera's pointing at. There's your gas cylinder all the way down there. And underneath here, it might be on the alternate side by the look of it, there is a small gas box, and you take off the cover. There it is, look, two little screws in it. Take that off, and that'll have a little gas fitting in there so you can isolate your gas like an emergency isolation point. To find out how much gas you've got, we need the keys in the ignition, which I'll do after, and it's going to tell you on this gasset monitor. Empty, full, and green lights will fill this up for you. Just thinking, probably while I'm down here, best to show you how the fridge works from here because it's much more accessible. So the fridge is here. We open it from this side. We can also lock it off with this here. It's got a little lever on top that you swing round, look, and that locks the fridge. Then that opens it so we can open it. So on your dial, that's on mains, that is off. That's when you're plugged in on a campsite. That means vehicle battery, so when you're driving you want it on that one, and to have it on gas you put it to the bottom, then you push these two in simultaneously until that little orange reader goes in the green. Once it's in the green, I can now remove, and that is now staying in the green. What you'll notice is as I turn it back to the electric hookup, it drops straight out, so we know it's no longer lit on gas. I'll wait to get inside, and that's the control panel and the heating, because what I just wanted to show you your boiler drain off location next. So we know where the fresh water is down here, we know the wastewater is at the back. The next one then is we need to then drain the boiler off. Now to do so, lift this cushion off and just put it on the other chair for now. That'll do. And then with this lever, lift it up, slide the chair all the way out, and then we can get straight behind it, and we're now into the boiler compartment. Your water pump is just there, boiler and boiler drain valve. lift it into the upright position, and it's going to drain like so. To stop that, we do that, and now it's no longer draining the boiler. So that is how you drain your boiler, and we're only going to do that if we're not using the vehicle for a good length of time. I'll put the seat cushions back on afterwards. Once we're in the motorhome, underneath this other side, which if we do the same, where you just simply lift that off and then pull the lever upwards and push the chair forwards, we can then get under here, and I can show you your fuse board. So that's your mains fuse board when you've got the vehicle plugged in. That's your inline 12 volt fuse, so everything basically fused off of this leisure battery in this battery box just here. And that is your charger pushed in. So out, look, no lights on. Push it in, it's now on, and we can leave that on. This is a tripod that you can put the table leg in. This is for your windscreen top up, it's a funnel. And this frame here sits on there, and on this side when you've got it extended out to make a solid platform for that wooden board. It sits on here, but there's no support at the front, which is what that black framework is for. And then when you're done, you simply push backwards and it clips all back into position. So then you'll put your cushions back on and loop the woodwork through that bit there, which I'll do obviously when I've got two hands available. Up high level, storage. To be fair, they're all storage, there's nothing in any of them. In the back of this one, we do have, that's it there, look, your TV aerial booster, but you just leave that running. You don't need to turn it off, don't need to mess around with it. All that's doing is putting TV signal onto that TV aerial cable just there. Now, heating and hot water and the control panel. So this is your control panel. This turns everything on and off. This wakes up the leisure battery. So if I click that off, we can't get any lights on or nothing. Turn it on, now everything's woken up. So I can come here and I can turn lights on. This turns your water pump on and off. This turns the awning light outside the door on and off. This one changes the brightness of this screen. Like I say, that one turns everything on and off but the fridge. The fridge is on its own circuit. This one shows you the fresh water level, 50%. This one shows you the battery levels. Vehicle battery is nearly full, leisure battery is nice and full. This one here, hold it in, it'll take you to the settings. This is down, this is up, and that is enter. So we can change the display settings, or it'll be the colour, the brightness. We can change the clock. We can also exit the settings, but if I click down and go further into the settings, we can change, it turns the tones on and off, the temperature internal and external, how much amps we're using, what voltage is on the batteries, and the smitter. And if you just remember, the smitter, if I go up and click exit, is just these two here. So if you've got them on, it'll show you your water and battery levels constantly. If the smitter's off, it won't show you any of those. And that's it with the control panel. With the heating, we press to turn on. First is a motorhome with a thermometer in. So we're going to click this dial in, and that's the motorhome with a thermometer. So now we're going to twist the dial and choose the exact temperature that we want, up to 30 degrees. Click into select. Next is water with a thermometer in it. So that's the water temperature. So across, click in, off, that's 40 degrees hot water, that's 60 degrees hot water, and all that is the 60 degrees hot water, but it borrows some power from the heating to get there faster. So hot is the hottest water we can get. Then we spin the dial, and next is the power supply. So click in. Do we want gas on its own if we're camping in a field, wild camping? Mix 1, which is gas and 1 kilowatt of electric, which is symboled by a gas bottle and 1 lightning bolt. Mix 2 is gas and 2 kilowatts of electric, which is shown by a gas bottle and 2 lightning bolts. Electric 1 is no gas whatsoever, which is why it's just 1 kilowatt of electric with 1 lightning bolt. And electric 2 is 2 kilowatts of electric, which is shown with just 2 lightning bolts. To select, click in the button. We then have the fan speed for the heating. Do we want it on eco or high? And you'll notice 1 fan blade and 2 fan blades light up for eco and high. So now I can tell you the vehicle's plugged in on the hookup lead, and it's telling me that there, and it's got power. I can tell you it's not 8:46. I can tell you we've set the heating to 30 degrees centigrade. I can tell you we've set the water to hot, which is 70 degrees hot water. If that said eco, you've got it on 40 degrees. I can tell you we're using gas and 2 kilowatts of electric because there's 2 lightning bolts. And I can tell you we've got a high fan speed because 2 of them fan blades are lit up rather than 1. And we can see all that just from here. Now down at the bottom, you have timers. So this here is a normal timer. So everything will run in that vehicle. If I click enter now, all those settings will run for 2 hours and 25 minutes. If I go to this one here, that's a daily event timer. So if I click enter now and again, all these settings here will come on at 47 minutes past 8 in the morning every day. In your settings, you've got offset, so we can offset the internal to external temperature, the temperature, whether you want it in centigrade or Fahrenheit, the brightness of the screen, what hour clock you want to use, what language you want to read in. The index is going to tell you all about this control panel, and then we have the reset. Now the reset is there just in case you get a fault on the system, or like I explained to you earlier, if you was to run out of gas whilst using mix 2, it's going to bring up a fault. Now if you unplug the vehicle, turn it off, drive it, get your gas refilled and come back, there may still be a fault on the panel, which is why we offered the reset button. So we can go down to the spanner in the bottom, click it and scroll all the way to the end and reset the panel, so it will then restart itself with the gas bottles now filled up and start up as normal. When you're done with it, hold the button for 5 seconds, the system will switch off. Behind here are 2 USBs that are powered off the leisure battery, so we can use that whether on a campsite or not while camping, and this will only be powered when the vehicle's plugged in. Just like in the lounge here, we've got 2 more. This will work off the battery, this will need a plug-in in order for it to work. All the lights have a 1 and 2 setting, so first tap and second tap. Obviously I don't think I've even got the lights on. No, good lad Charlie. This back one, look, for instance, so this is off, this is night time, so when it's pitch black you can see where the light switch is, and then you tap again to turn it all on. Nice and easy. You've got your hobs underneath here. It's push in and twist as normal with the igniter just next to it. Hold it for 3 seconds, let the thermocouples get warmed, turn it off, just turn it to the black dot space in the top. If we have got the water pump on, obviously you can pump water through your tap systems. Just need to build up a bit of pressure because I've had the water pump off, let that build up to pressure. But simply just turn the water pump on the control panel. Once you know there's water in the system, then you can run water through, as you can see now. To pack it away, push it down and put the lid down. Before travelling, we will need to take this out, otherwise it's going to rattle your brains a bit, so I'll take that out now while we're going around the vehicle. And from my understanding, the only other thing that we really wanted to show you was just the toilet controls. So to turn the light on in here, it's just there. So that means the toilet cassette's been taken out, someone's midway through emptying it, so don't use the toilet. This means we need more water in the fresh water tank to flush the toilet. This means your cassette is 3/4 full, and that means your toilet cassette is fully full. And this one here flushes the toilet. So if I press the middle one, you'll see it flushes from every direction. All that water's come off that blue fresh water tank. Pull this out to drop it all into the cassette below. So that flush works off the same water pump. So if you want to flush your toilet, the water pump needs to be turned on. Push that back in when you're done, seat down. Shower head's always on the floor for travel to make sure it's safe and secure and in position. To get your sink down, twist your release lever, pull the basin unit down and simply pull the tap out towards the basin unit. To drain it off, lift slowly like so and let the water trickle down this gap at the back. Once it's up, clip it back in before we drive anywhere, and then again before we drive anywhere, slide this along and just make sure it's on the magnet all the way down the side in its strongest position. I'm going to get these cushions back on, guys, but I hope you've enjoyed your handover and videos, and good luck with the motorhome, and hopefully you make some great memories.